services and their public adjusting services. Their knowledge of the market, of the ever-changing regulations, and their ability to create a very thorough estimate from an understanding of construction and the management of the project.
Happy Friday, Hail Stalkers. Lead meteorologist Sean Choquette here for our daily 12 p.m. hail forecast, sponsored by C3 Group and Merlin Law Group. As always, check out their pages in the description below here on Facebook. So, if you're having any issues with our website and our app, as always, you feel free to give us a call and we can set up a training with you guys so that way you are well versed in everything that Hailtrace has to offer from that next big hailstorm impacts you. And hopefully we can get a big hailstorm today. With that forecast, we have two different areas we're looking at today. Percentages aren't crazy high. However, I'm also kind of being a little conservative with the forecast today because of the fairly isolated nature of a lot of these storms. Looks like we're going to see quite a bit of activity in southwestern Kansas, parts of the Texas Panhandle, with some very large hail possible. If any of the biggest storms that occur could have up to 3-inch hail, like mentioned here on the screen. That's anywhere here in the purple. I have a 2% chance up in the front range for Denver. Storm Prediction Center has actually pulled away from the front range. I'm still keeping that in there. I don't think it's going to be like how it was on Saturday, where you had that tennis ball size hail in Castle Rock, Colorado. I think it'll be much more, a lot of smaller hail, quarter, $half size. If we get a storm that goes really crazy, maybe some ping pong balls. But I think for the most part, marginally severe hail mixing in with a lot of sub-severe hail if storms do occur. I'm not super confident on that at the moment. 2% could go up, could go down. We'll see how things go through the remainder of the day. And yeah, Heather will be doing videos next week. I do have a lot of other things on my plate. So for those of you clamoring for Heather to come back, she will come back next week. Don't worry. We have again, 5% Amarillo. I think we're going to see quite a bit of storm activity. I'd probably give like a 15 to 20% chance for Dodge City with the amount of activity expected. Storms will eventually move into central and eastern sections of Kansas in the overnight hours. However, it looks like it's going to turn into more of a squall line like this time of year tends to try to do. So Kansas City, even Wichita, your hail chances are probably pretty minimal. And Kansas City, I have you not in a hail chance at all. This is actually a pattern, seeing these kinds of storms in the Texas Panhandle and even moving into Oklahoma, fairly unusual for this time of year. Usually we are shifting further to the north. However, this year things are continuing to stay a little cooler than normal, a little wetter than normal, and that keeps things a little further south for much longer as we're into mid-June here. Another area we're looking at is more normal for this time of year. You have a chance for some storms across sections of Minnesota, northern Wisconsin, parts of North Dakota. Any of those storms that can stay isolated for a long time, really get going, you could see up to some 2-inch hail. So places like Minneapolis, I do have a 2% there, 2% for Bismarck. The only caveat for the northern target today is the fact that we're going to have a lot of isolated storms. So there isn't a real defined area of forcing. That's usually what increases our chances when you see something very clear showing up that's in the general vicinity of a major metropolitan area. It could get towards Minneapolis, but I think it might be a little too far to the north and to the west. This area where there aren't as many people is what's more likely to see storms. And North Dakota, well, barely anybody lives there. A lot of nothing. So you have to really find that needle in a haystack to even impact anybody across North Dakota. So looking at the future radar, this is of course in the central target here. See some storms forming over by Denver, and then more importantly, a lot of this activity that forms in southwestern Kansas and roar across southern Kansas and near northern Oklahoma as the evening and overnight hours wear on. But here, I wouldn't be surprised if Colorado Springs sees a storm versus Denver, a little further south in Colorado, better chance. And up to the north here, I'll step out of the way. You see a lot of storms form, but not a lot of good storms. You gotta see those little black trails showing up. That's when you show the stronger updrafts. That's what you need for those big hailstorms. You see some good ones up in northern sections of Minnesota, but when you get down to this area over here where Minneapolis is located, when it loops around again, this particular run does show some storms by you, but whether or not that actually occurs is a whole different story. You don't want to take the future radar as gospel because it burns you a lot when you do that. So it just gives you a general idea of the type of activity you're seeing today and just widely scattered thunderstorms for the area. So moving into your Saturday, kind of similar to what we're seeing today. Shift the areas around a little bit. Might be pushing a little more into Oklahoma. Looks like there will be a chase day for us here at Hail Trace to see some up to 3-inch hail. Places like southwestern Oklahoma, parts of near Wichita Falls, for example, Texas, up to the probably southern border of Kansas. Few storms are expected to form. They could have some real big hail with them if they can stay isolated for a while. And we can also see, I think, a second area of storms. This one could be more proficient at making hail. You could see nowhere near the 3-inch hail, but maybe closer to golf ball, a 2-inch hail. Places like northern and central Illinois near Chicago, even possibly as far west as Kansas City. But I feel like every time I put Kansas City at risk, all the Kansas City viewers' hearts sink a little bit because I'm probably cursed for your day tomorrow. So here is that future radar showing across the central portions of the United States. See some big storms showing up across the Texas Panhandle. Joel's asking about southwestern Missouri. Maybe not. And you can see storms forming in the evening hours across Iowa there, and even trying to build its way back towards Kansas City, and that's probably Kansas City's best shot at seeing golf ball size hail or larger. And then the rest of Missouri, you get south about I-70, you're probably gonna have a hard time seeing storms tomorrow. Shifting a little further to the east for you guys here, future radar showing quite a bit of activity across Iowa, parts of southern Wisconsin, and into Illinois. This is something I gotta watch real carefully. If we have this occur as it's shown, it'll be a pretty busy day across northern Illinois and parts of southern Wisconsin. And this is a pretty densely populated area with Chicago, Milwaukee, Madison, etc. So we'll be watching this super carefully. I know Chicago, you are more than happy to have more hail. You haven't had a lot of crazy good hail yet this year. And of course, Kansas City, you guys really want a storm. I'll just say it's not going to hail in Kansas City. How about that? Maybe we'll use some reverse psychology on Mother Nature on this one for your day on Saturday. And moving into your Sunday, this is the area at risk. Pretty expansive one. I have the Colorado Front Range in there for your Sunday, and chance for Oklahoma, even Oklahoma City possibly a risk on Sunday. And then down to the west of Dallas, probably not Dallas, and then a lot of area here across the Great Lakes. Looks like we have a warm front set up, and those either mean a lot of storms or not too many. So it's all or nothing for your Sunday. So St. Louis, Indianapolis, most of Ohio, and parts of western Pennsylvania all at risk for your Sunday for some hail, varying sizes from quarter size hail up to possibly some pretty large size hail if things pan out just right. A lot of question marks about Oklahoma for Sunday, depending on how tomorrow pans out. So that's all I got for you guys for today. If we have any big storms, say a storm does in fact impact Denver, we'll try to do our best to go live with live coverage, of course. And if anywhere else happens to get hit through the weekend, we'll try to do our best to do live coverage as well, along with if any major storm chasing happens, we'll try cell phone service, provided we will actually go live on that as well. So follow us here on Facebook, Hit See First, so you don't miss any of that content. And give us a call at 855-334-4245 with any comments, questions, or concerns, or if you need training for our website, or if you have any interest in what Hail Trace has to offer for you. You can also email us or visit our website at hailtrace.com for more details. And finally, follow us on Instagram at hailtrace for just more behind-the-scenes social media updates stuff. Talk to you guys again tomorrow, likely. I don't know if it'll be here or at my house, whichever one I am able to get around to doing, and hopefully do those hail dances. We can do some live coverage as well. Hope you guys have a great rest of your Friday. I'll see you again tomorrow at 12 p.m. unless we have some big storms happen. Have a great day, everybody.